A recently preserved historic property at Gettysburg Battlefield, the home of a widow, turned into the headquarters for General Robert E. Lee during the Civil War, and later a motel restaurant, and now restored back to how it would have looked during the Civil War. We're venturing to Gettysburg National Military Park in Pennsylvania, to General Lee's headquarters in this podcast, to explore the story of the battle, the people who lived through it, and the fight to preserve history itself. We're meeting up with David Duncan, president of the American Battlefield Trust, at Lee's headquarters, and a second site where preservation is unfolding, to better understand the stories of the modern efforts to bring historic places back from the brink of being lost. It's the Travels with Darley podcast, where by traveling with locals and experts, we gain special insights into the places, people, and experiences that help us see the world in a new way. So let's travel back in time through preserved places, this time in Gettysburg. A small 1.5-story stone home was in a key position in the Confederate line during the Battle of Gettysburg. Like so many residences during battles, it was taken over. In this case, the resident, widow Mary Thompson, would have General Robert E. Lee in her home, which served as his headquarters. Today, the home is preserved as a site that travelers can visit, thanks to the efforts of the American Battlefield Trust, a nonprofit organization dedicated to preserving historic battlefield land in the United States. The American Battlefield Trust's president, David Duncan, is meeting me on this chilly fall day in Gettysburg, at the site of General Lee's headquarters. A bright blue sign by the road marks the entrance to a small parking lot, where David greets me in khaki pants and a navy blue quarter-zip pullover, with a logo of his organization, the American Battlefield Trust, on his front left pocket.
The modern road here right beside the Thompson house is actually in the trace of the original wartime road as well. This was a very important transportation artery coming into Gettysburg from the west. Mrs. Thompson's house was right here, of course, next to the road.
The road is today U.S. Route 30, also known as the historic Lincoln Highway. It's relatively busy, with a steady stream of cars and trucks passing through Gettysburg and the national park.
Lee's headquarters tells the story of Mary Thompson, who lived here. She was 70 at the time of the battle. This picture was taken facing on the other side of the road, and you can literally go through and line up the stones on the other face of the house.
David's pointing to an interpretive sign facing the home and along a paved walkway, one of a few interpretive signs at the site to help guide travelers through the history. Behind us are the remains of an old antebellum barn, which stood here before the battle, but back then had a wood-framed section larger than the stone foundations we see today. That wood frame housed the stables. In later years, the barn was taken down and replaced with modern housing, which again was later removed back to the original stonework we see today. In the 1950s, there was multiple buildings that were here that are not today.
Correct. A restaurant all the way around us, behind us, was single story but multiple building type of motel structure. Just completely developed parking lots, asphalt everywhere.
Following the Battle of Gettysburg, the home and Mary Thompson became an attraction for tourists and reporters. By 1967, a motel with a swimming pool, a restaurant, and brew pub would have been built at the site, surrounding the Mary Thompson house.
And in 2014, we heard from local folks here that the owners of the property were looking to sell, and our biggest concern, if somebody were to come in and build a 3 or 4 story hotel right on this high ground, it would very negatively impact the rest of the Battlefield National Park here and telling the story of the first day.
This was the location of intense fighting on July 1st, 1863, and it was also strategically located on a high point. Lee would use it to direct troop movements and coordinate strategy as Confederate forces pushed into Gettysburg. As the fighting waged on, the home would turn into a makeshift hospital. The American Battlefield Trust purchased the property, and restored it back to what it would have looked like during the battle. This helps visitors visualize what it was like here during the Civil War, when the house was turned into Lee's headquarters and a hospital, where Mary Thompson herself tended to the wounded.
But it goes back to part of our mission, which is telling the story of what happened at these very important places and giving people a sense of the power of place. And it was very difficult to interpret what happened here, Robert E. Lee's headquarters, Mary Thompson's story, when you're surrounded by that type of development. Much easier now.
Much easier for people to go back in time and visualize.
Exactly. We tried, when we did the restoration, we wanted to bring it back to the point where if Robert E. Lee or any of the soldiers on either side who fought in this battle came back today, they would know exactly where they were. People tend to crave that, I think, when they come to a place like a battlefield. They want to see what the soldiers saw. And it's very difficult to have a meaningful interpretive experience when you're standing in a parking lot looking at the side of a building that wasn't there during the time of the battle.
But many people think about national parks and they don't know that many places like this were preserved over time.
Exactly right, Darley. The parks, when they were setting them up many, many years ago, they got as much land and as much property as they could at the time. Where we're standing right now here at Lee's headquarters was not one of those places. That's why organizations like the Trust exist, so that we can go in and save these still very important parcels and hopefully add them to the parks later.
What do you think is most interesting about this site and location?
This is a very, very meaningful site to me because of the preservation story that it tells. People who come here now who didn't know what it was just 10 years ago in terms of a developed site with a hotel and a restaurant, et cetera, they don't know what a miracle this actually is, to be able to preserve and restore a piece of important hallowed ground like this to the way it looked during the time of the battle. It took a very long time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort, but it's a gift to future generations who can now come here and learn from this place.
So this has been painstakingly restored.
Absolutely. Even to the extent that you'll see back here, it's hard to tell, but there's a doghouse. We've even restored the doghouse.
Well, I've got to see this doghouse. Traveling around the USA and the world for the past 2 decades, I've seen a lot of ancient, historic, and amazing places where history is preserved, but also places, too, that were torn down and replaced by something new. Not always bad, but sometimes devastating to sharing the stories of what came before. Restoring places like these takes a lot of time, money, patience, and thought. We walk around the back of the stone home to see the doghouse, where Austin, the family dog, lived during the Civil War. So David, the family that lived here, they actually did have a dog named Austin.
They did, and we can tell from the original glass plate negatives that were taken of this house immediately after the battle. We can tell from the photographs it was one of the most beat up and decrepit looking dog houses we've ever seen. So we actually encourage visitors to the site to come here and give it a kick or a punch and to make it look even more authentic.
I do my part, giving the white wooden doghouse, which even includes Austin's name painted in black on the front, a kick. Yeah, that's what I love about visiting sites like this. These are the stories that you don't necessarily read in the history books.
Exactly. And I think that's another key aspect of history. We think of these people as living so long ago and they were ancient, but Darley, they were just like us. They had families, they had children, they had pets. And so that's a very important part of the story to tell as well.
Following my meeting with David Duncan, I looked back to find out more about Austin and Mary Thompson and found an article published on October 28, 2016 from a ribbon-cutting ceremony at Lee's headquarters, unveiling the restored Mary Thompson house. 700 people were in attendance. The reporter even included a photograph of Austin's doghouse in the article. Notable too, Gary Adelman, an author of dozens of books on the Civil War and chief historian at the American Battlefield Trust, was at the dedication. His picture made it into the paper. Why am I not surprised?
And then imagine 165,000 soldiers being here and fighting over 3 days. How seriously their lives were disrupted after this battle too, because this and every other building for miles around became a hospital to treat wounded soldiers. And that impact was felt here in Gettysburg for decades after the battle.
It's interesting to see how parks and places get protected and preserved. David and I traveled just down the road to Baltimore Pike near East Cemetery Hill to the McKnight House, another Battlefield Trust preservation project, this one not as far along as Lee's headquarters.
We're at the site of the McKnight House, which was an original wartime structure. It may look a little rough at the moment because we're working to stabilize it and restore it so that, again, people can experience this part of the battlefield as it was during the time of the battle. It's a lot of work, a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it also goes to show that a lot of times what we see today as preserved land or parks, it comes together as a patchwork, as a quilt.
We like to say that we're constantly putting the puzzle pieces together. Over time, again, working with localities, with our donors, putting together those different parts. It's a very long game. Sometimes it takes landowners years to get to the point where they're willing to sell their property for preservation. But hopefully then we can put together the puzzle and have a wonderful picture.
How many projects are there like this here at Gettysburg National Military Park and in the area?
Currently, right now in Gettysburg, all across the battlefield, we're working through a multi-year, multi-million-dollar phased project to restore key parts of the battlefield. These are very, very large projects, but the impact they will have in terms of restoring the landscape to the way it looked during the time of the battle, that's part of our mission. That's what we're here to do.
The McKnight House's location is significant. Tens of thousands of Union troops marched past the property on July 1st and 2nd. Fighting broke out here on the evening of July 2nd. Records also show Union soldiers temporarily buried here, on and around the property, before the Soldiers' National Cemetery was established. That's where Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address on November 1863. At the time, both lots were zoned for mixed-use development, and the McKnight House had no preservation protections.
David, why is it important for people to visit battlefields?
Well, we truly believe that battlefields are the places where our country was created and defined. And if you want to know about America and how we became the country that you are, well, you need to go to those places where those great events happen that define this country. And there's no better place to go than a preserved and interpreted battlefield to act as an outdoor classroom, to teach you so much more than you ever could have learned about that time in our history. And you get it in a way that's much more memorable and evocative than you will ever get in any history textbook. If you want to learn about your country's history, hopefully come away being a better citizen, a battlefield is a great place to do it.
It truly is. Outside of a textbook, classroom, or old photograph, you can walk in the steps of General Lee, soldiers, and the everyday people and pets, like Mary Thompson and Austin, who were so much a part of American history and our greater story. You can learn more about Gettysburg National Military Park in the latest episode of Travels with Darley, Communities That Shaped America, on PBS and streaming, and coming to YouTube, and of course by visiting yourself. If you do, keep in mind that sometimes these parks and areas have hidden gems, like General Lee's headquarters. And you can also explore these. The American Battlefield Trust has information on these sites and visiting, as well as other locations that need their story kept alive. I'm Darley Newman, and I appreciate you taking another journey with me, along with unsung heroes of the past and present. Thanks for listening. Check back in this podcast to hear about other places you might want to explore, and look for upcoming episodes of the Travels with Darley podcast and TV series. And if you haven't, please subscribe. You can also check out new episodes of my PBS series out now. And coming out next year, we'll be debuting our 100th episode season of our TV series. We're out filming now. You can look for us on the road on social media and check out my new book. It's called Revolutionary Road Trip, and it takes you to lesser-known locations to reveal stories of the American Revolution. These are sites that you can visit, and please pre-order it. It helps to get me into local bookstores across the nation. It's on Amazon and wherever you buy books. As always, thanks for traveling.